Good afternoon, everybody. Kai here from Skulkcraft Studio, and we're going to do a little mini video on Can Stop Slip Save It. That said, this will be a part 1 of 2 video, and the product we're talking about is this here. And just to clarify, it literally says it's for setting hair that's loose or starting to slip, not if it's completely loose. So this is not going to fix all of our problems here, because what we have is a couple of squirrels that were shipped in. They came through the mail good, as far as they're still cold when they arrived. We got this one here that does not have, and we're just loosely running over the tail. Does not have loose hairs. It is a sparser tail, but we don't have any hair loss. What we do have is this other one that if you even just lightly, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there are hairs. There's more from the first check we did and out of the box. So it's loose, it's coming out, and part of why this happens, this could have been loose when they were taken, probably not, but these were shipped loose in a pretty good sized box with one other thing, and so they roll around, they rattle around, they have claws. There's a couple of gouges out of fur on them as well, from probably each other's claws catching as they tumbled around. And when they're loose in a box, not packed tight with other frozen things, this thaws out really quick, this tail. So this was thawed out maybe even just hours after going in the box. We've had them, sometimes we'll do freezer cleanouts, and we'll take items out of the freezers and we'll put them in bigger styrofoam boxes or even ice chests, coolers, to hold them while we're double checking what's in there, recataloging everything, deciding what's gonna go elsewhere. And we'll come back in an hour, and even in a big container with other stuff, the tails will be thawed out. These thaw out really quick. The tails and the ears thaw out first on the squirrels. The ears on this guy seem okay. So there's not, even with the blood, there's not hair slipping on the ears. But we're gonna go ahead and, oh wow, alright. So we just noticed another problem. The loose hairs on the tail, this can help some with. But when it says completely loose or fully slipping, this is completely loose or fully slipping. You can actually, I don't know if you guys can see this, but you can actually see the skin layer and the hair rubbing off of that. You guys see that? Yeah, so I'm not sure what happened there. This smells like it's been in the freezer for a bit. But this is full slip right here, where it's got the, it's coming out in bunches. It's even got that little bit of top layer of skin on it. We usually see this on like mink and weasels and stuff on their belly. I've honestly not seen a squirrel leg do this. I can only kind of imagine that the broken leg here, which is through the skin, it's an exposed fracture here. Kind of. I guess it's only, well, it's at least cut. But anyway, I guess probably bacteria from blood and wet caused that. That's, yeah, that's unfortunate, because these guys are really pretty. So we may or may not come back to this. That's We would have to get really creative on where to put this, and I think we have, between the two, we have one squirrel, because the eye sockets on this one look good, but on this nicer intact one here, this eye is very cut up. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's very cut up. If it's all there, we might be able to piece it back together. I don't know if that happened when it was killed, or if that happened when beforehand. So I don't know. We'll come back to that. Well, we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about what we do with the tail. And that is, we usually take the knob locks and we'll put it in a bottle. And we'll just make sure it's on. Brand new bottle here, takes a minute, there we go. And we'll actually saturate that. To help keep it from slipping. Or at least to help set the loose hairs that are in there. If we're going to mount one, or work to, especially if we're going to mount dry, or if we're going to work to tan it, we'd let this sit for however long it says. I think it's an hour. Let's set for 1 hour before working with the skin, and 24 hours before grooming if it's on a head that's already mounted. So, yeah. Now I'm going to go ahead, and it's not going to stop this. Obviously the hair is already gone, but I'm going to put some here anyway to kind of help set the loose hair around it that hasn't started coming out. We're probably not going to be able to use this for competition taxidermy. We would have to get really creative. Like if a customer brought this in, we'd have to get really creative on poses, like maybe something where it's laying down might work, assuming the tail comes out all right. Or transplant a tail from one to the other. We've done that. Go ahead and hit the backs of the ears too, because there's no hair coming out yet, but it might. And hit the nose and mouth, because that's, and eyes, all the areas where it's like to slip. But whether these go back to the shipper or we do something with them, I don't know. We'll talk to them. But at least this way they have the best chance of being in good condition. And just because, we'll go ahead and treat this one as well. It's not loose yet, but this way it's less likely to become that way. So that's that. And that's really all we can do for these at the moment. So we'll get back to you guys on, well, we'll go ahead and do a second part to this, and we'll get back to you guys on either the results or what happened. Most of the folks that ship us stuff, this is not a customer shipment. These are, we were going to use these for some displays and classes, so, and possibly competition. But yeah, we'll let you guys know what happens. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.